From the producer of Fairy Tale Dreams and Rapunzel's story comes a dazzling new adventure inspired by the beloved original fairy tale. In a land of icy mountains and shimmering snow, a powerful queen rules from a palace of frost. But when young Kai is swept away by a mysterious spell, his best friend Gerda sets off on a journey like no other. Along the way, she'll meet a clever talking crow, a warm-hearted reindeer, and a glowing golden queen who reminds her that hope shines brightest in the dark. Get ready for laughs, magic, and a heartwarming tale of friendship that proves even the coldest curse can be melted by love. This winter, believe in magic, believe in courage, believe in the Snow Queen. Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up, the keeper of dreams, the heart of Neverland. But now, an ancient evil stirs beneath the enchanted island, a darkness that threatens to consume everything he loves. When hope fades, Peter must become more than a legend. He will fight the shadow, fight for Neverland, and fight for the magic inside us all. But the greatest battle may be the one Peter never saw coming. Peter Pan, Shadows of Neverland, soaring into theaters spring 2026. Prepare to believe again. Please join us for our magical summary of the classic Hans Christian Andersen tale, The Snow Queen. In a far-off land, an evil and mischievous troll created a mysterious mirror with dark magic that twisted everything beautiful into ugliness. One fateful day, the mirror shattered into millions of pieces, spreading its evil powers far and wide. In a bustling town, two inseparable friends, Gerda and Kai, lived a life filled with laughter, adventure, and exploration. But when tiny shards of the broken mirror lodged in Kai's eye and heart, he began to act strangely. The once happy and carefree boy was now under the spell of the dark magic. As fate would have it, the enchanting yet wicked Snow Queen descended upon the town in her majestic sleigh. Entranced by her icy beauty, Kai was swept away to the Snow Queen's frozen palace, a marvel of ice and snow that stretched as far as the eye could see. Gerda, driven by her unwavering love and determination, set out on a perilous journey to rescue her dear friend. Undaunted by the snowy forest, Gerda pressed on, guided by a crow who seemed to know the secrets of Kai's disappearance. The crow led her to the Golden Castle, where she met a kind-hearted princess and her court. With their help, Gerda continued her quest, facing many challenges along the way. Finally, she arrived at the Snow Queen's palace, where she found Kai sitting on a frozen lake, surrounded by the Queen's icy court. He was trying to spell out the word eternity with pieces of ice, but the splinter in his eye hindered him. Gerda's tears, filled with love and warmth, fell upon Kai's frozen heart, and he began to thaw. The memories of their friendship and the love they shared melted the ice, breaking the Snow Queen's spell. Kai was finally free, and the two friends were reunited at last. As they hugged each other tightly, the sun broke through the clouds, and the weather transformed into a warm and pleasant day. Hand in hand, they began their journey home, wiser and more grateful for the unbreakable bond of their friendship. Once upon a time, a beautiful girl named Rapunzel was locked away in a tower by a wicked witch. With golden hair that grew long and wild, she was kept hidden from the world. One day, a prince heard her singing and climbed the tower using her hair. They fell in love and planned to escape together. But the witch discovered their plan and cast Rapunzel out. Heartbroken, the prince wandered the world until he found Rapunzel again. With a single tear, she broke the witch's spell. Finally, Rapunzel and the prince were free, and they lived happily ever after. In a faraway land, a poor but kind boy named Aladdin lived with his mother. One day, a mysterious stranger appeared, claiming to be Aladdin's long-lost uncle. The stranger took Aladdin on a journey to a hidden cave, where he revealed his true intentions: to retrieve a magical lamp. As Aladdin entered the cave, the stranger tried to trick him, but Aladdin outsmarted him and retrieved the lamp. When he rubbed the lamp to clean it, a puff of smoke burst out, and a magnificent genie appeared. The genie told Aladdin that he would grant him 3 wishes. Aladdin wished to become a rich prince to impress the beautiful princess of the land. With a wave of the genie's hand, Aladdin's wish came true. He became a prince, and the princess fell deeply in love with him. However, the evil stranger, who was a sorcerer, discovered Aladdin's secret and stole the lamp. He wished to become the ruler of the land and banished Aladdin to a faraway island. But Aladdin didn't give up. He cleverly tricked the sorcerer's brother and retrieved the lamp once again. With his final wish, Aladdin asked the genie to defeat the sorcerer and bring peace to the kingdom. The genie granted Aladdin's wish, and the sorcerer was punished. Aladdin and the princess got married, and they lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. From that day on, Aladdin kept the lamp safe, using its magic to help those in need. He learned that true power comes not from magic, but from being brave, clever, and kind. And the genie remained his loyal friend, always ready to lend a helping hand. This ancient tale of Aladdin's wonderful lamp reminds us that even the most ordinary person can achieve extraordinary things with courage, wit, and a little bit of magic. Please join us for our magical summary of the classic Brothers Grimm tale, Snow White. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a lovely young princess named Snow White. Her stepmother, the queen, was very proud and always asked her magic mirror, "Who is the fairest of them all?" For many years, the mirror replied that the queen was the fairest. But one day, it told her that Snow White had become even more beautiful. The queen became very jealous and asked a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and make her disappear. When the huntsman found Snow White, he realized he couldn't do anything to harm her because she was so kind. Instead, he told her to run away and hide deep in the forest, where she would be safe. Snow White wandered through the woods until she found a cozy little cottage that belonged to 7 dwarves. The dwarves welcomed her and invited her to stay, asking only that she help keep the house tidy while they worked in the mines. Snow White was happy to stay, and life in the cottage was peaceful. But the queen, still jealous, asked her magic mirror again, and it revealed that Snow White was alive and well. Determined to make herself the fairest again, the queen came up with a plan. First, she disguised herself as an old peddler and tricked Snow White into wearing a too tight bodice, which made Snow White feel faint. The dwarfs found her and quickly helped her recover. The queen tried again, this time with a poisoned comb, but the dwarfs saved Snow White once more. Finally, the queen gave Snow White a poisoned apple, which caused her to fall into a deep sleep. The dwarfs, heartbroken, placed Snow White in a glass bed so they could watch over her. One day, a kind prince came along and asked to take the glass bed with him to his kingdom. While moving it, a piece of the poisoned apple fell out of Snow White's mouth, and she woke up. Snow White and the prince fell in love and got married, and they lived happily ever after. Please join us for our delightful summary of the classic Brothers Grimm fairy tale, Rapunzel. Once upon a time, there was a husband and wife who lived next to a beautiful garden owned by a wicked enchantress named Dame Gothel. The wife, who was expecting a child, saw some luscious rampion, a kind of leafy vegetable, growing in the garden and craved it desperately. Unable to resist, the husband sneaked into the garden to pick some for her. However, he was caught by Dame Gothel, who was furious. She agreed to let him go, but only on the condition that the couple would give her their baby when it was born. Sadly, they had no choice but to agree. When the baby girl was born, Dame Gothel took her away and named her Rapunzel, after the rampion her mother had craved. Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child, and when she was 12, Dame Gothel locked her in a tall tower deep in the forest. The tower had no stairs or doors, only a small window at the very top. Whenever Dame Gothel wanted to visit, she would stand beneath the tower and call, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would then drop her long golden hair out of the window, and Dame Gothel would climb up. One day, a prince happened to pass by the tower and heard Rapunzel singing. Captivated by her voice, he watched and learned how Dame Gothel climbed up the tower. After the enchantress left, he called to Rapunzel in the same way, and she let down her hair. The prince climbed up and asked Rapunzel to marry him, and she agreed. They made a plan to escape together. However, Dame Gothel discovered their plan and, in her anger, cut off Rapunzel's hair and banished her to a distant wilderness. She then tricked the prince, who fell from the tower and was blinded by the thorns below. For years, the prince wandered, searching for Rapunzel. At last, he found her in the wilderness, and her tears of joy restored his sight. They returned to his kingdom and lived happily ever after.